Dario Agger and the Roxxon Corporation are willing to go to any dirty lengths if it means stopping the Hulk. All this and more on the pages of Immortal Hulk issue number 29. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the comic, Agger and his compatriots are going over a bunch of footage taken from the Hulk at the protest at the end of the previous issue. Of course, it takes a while to watch the whole video as they have to watch it on Bane motion after Rock's tube got taken down. Hey, you're still doing better than Ozblip, at least you're still around, ho ho ho, video hosting jokes. The bad guys eventually come to the realization that there is very little footage of the Hulk fighting in the daylight anymore and that his powers are almost certainly tied to the time of day. And that perhaps if they pick their next move very carefully, they can use this new knowledge to their advantage. Speaking of knowledge, this is in fact exactly what Doc Samson is talking to Betty Ross about. You see, Samson, as Banner's own psychiatrist, begins to wonder if the Hulk alternate personalities that are allowed to come out in the daylight are actually intrinsically tied to how well they're actually playing with Banner himself. Take, for example, the Grey Hulk Joe Fixit, once a hedonistic mob enforcer who never got to come out during the daylight, now he suddenly is. He's also playing nice with the others too, which has Samson wondering that perhaps as Banner rubs off on his other alternate personalities, they are afforded more freedom. Though you also have to wonder if the opposite is true and what hanging out with a guy who calls himself the Devil Hulk is probably doing to Banner's own psyche. Furthermore, Samson is all hung up on Bruce's problems. He fails to notice that Betty has not been doing well since becoming the Harpy again. She's cold, emotionally detached, but perhaps most distressingly of all, whenever Bruce shows up, she transforms into her monstrous form, almost as if the Harpy is actively trying to protect Betty from getting hurt by Bruce all over again. Now from there we transition on over to Jackie. She's writing another news piece on the Hulk that's starting to get her bosses worried. No, not her editor, he's loving the extra attention the paper's getting, but their board of directors is kind of getting a little creeped out by how humanized Jackie is making the Hulk in all of her articles, and again, shouldn't she have reason to hate the Hulk? He destroyed her neighborhood as a kid, probably killed her dad with a heart attack. And yet Jackie seems to fully and totally believe this social change that the Hulk is trying to bring about. His anger is their anger, it's righteous, it's pointed, and perhaps people like Roxxon shouldn't be allowed to get away with whatever they want anymore. Speaking of Roxxon, they choose now to pull off their giant attack. You'll recall in the previous issue, Dario Agger had taken a trip to Monster Island, and he's come back with a whole baker's dozen of killer kaijus. And oh look, he gave them cute nicknames connected to famous monster movie makers. You got Harryhausen, Bradbury, Lovecraft, you got all the warriors. Hey, wait a minute, why is there no codename Shelley? Too obvious, I guess, what with the whole Frankenstein connection? Jackie's paper in Arizona, along with several other high-profile targets, all come under attack across the globe, and here's the rub: Roxxon timed this perfectly to make sure no Avengers or Fantastic Four would get involved, as they're all currently off-planet. That means literally the only people who can get involved and save the day are the Hulk and his team. Granted, Banner's not stupid, he knows this is 100% a trap he's being led into. So they're all gonna have to keep their heads on a gamma swivel if they want to not be taken by surprise. Granted, as Mike Tyson once famously said, everyone's got a plan until they get hit, and every superhero has a plan until they get eaten by a giant squid monster as the comic comes to a close. And so that was the Immortal Hulk issue number 29, everybody, and after a few stories in a row of pointedly political social commentary type stories, this one gets back to more the classic monster mash. But now, because we already did a bunch of that ripped from the headline stuff in the previous issues, this next big fight is going to be more than just a beat 'em up, because we got a bunch of other factors underplaying it. I also like too that Hulk isn't doing this alone anymore. Al Ewing has very subtly rebuilt the Bruce Banner family. He's got his girlfriend, now his ex, his best friend Rick, who's a little worse for wear, and of course his psychiatrist. Immortal Hulk was near the top of my best comics list for last year, and it continues to be pretty amazing in 2020. Overall, I'd give this one another very solid 8 out of 10. Cannot wait to see where this art goes. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron.
You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.